the Alps.
Hmm.
So we're like, we better drive into the Channel Tunnel.
Before they close the
Yeah,
borders. Were you worried about that? Let's just go. We have to go before they close the
yeah.
borders, and
It's
we're
kind of
stuck in
exciting.
France.
Yeah. I mean, I like croissants and bread, but I'd rather come home.
I do too, but I don't think I'd be able to live on it for 3 months or however long we've been in this lockdown. It's been over 100 years. 100 years, it feels like.
It-
100 days. Sorry, it
yeah,
feels like 100 years.
100 days.
Over 100 days. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100 days and a bit. I stopped counting at 100 days.
Yeah.
Just every day just feels like the same, just like that Nine Inch Nails song.
Oh,
Just
yeah. I was listening to that the other week actually, and weirdly enough, I put it on repeat for like 2 hours.
such a good song.
Oh,
As like growing up, is there like a band that you're just like, oh my god, I want to be like them or like that artist?
uh, so there's a couple answers here. There's like the
Yeah.
old school rock band called Wishbone Ash, where probably
Oh right, okay.
probably no one knows, but they were pretty big in the 70s. I mean, to be honest, they're pretty big now. They've got such a huge following. I shouldn't have said no one knows because probably loads of people know them.
I might check them out because I've never heard
Yeah,
of it.
but yeah, they're a fantastic band, and much respect to the guys in them, because they I learned so many fundamentals from guitar and music from Wishbone Ash.
Oh wow.
And then coming to modern day, I'd say, Muse always been a big influence. Foo
Muse
Fighters,
are amazing live. Have you been to
incredible.
the shows?
Yeah, so the guitar
Yeah.
shop I worked at, Manson's, the boss there built Matt's guitars.
Oh wow.
So every now and then they'll be like, "Do you want to come to this gig? We can get you in."
Oh nice. You know people. Know people.
But
Talking about knowing people,
yeah,
okay? Dave Grohl, what's that all about? Do tell us. Did you record? You recorded your first album, is that correct? With one of the producers that produces
oh,
Foo Fighters, am I correct?
so you cut up a little bit there, Kat, but I think I got the gist of what you said.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was talking about there is a picture on your Facebook, you, Dave Grohl, and Alan. I don't remember his surname. I'm so sorry. Is the producer
Robert
for the
Bennett.
Foo Fighters?
Yes.
Yeah. So what was that all about?
So our producer,
Yeah.
Alan Johannes, is a huge, what a huge sort of moving force in behind a lot of the sort of Californian rock scene. Foo Fighters and Queens of the Stone Age,
Yes.
band called 11 he was in, Chris Cornell. So Alan is this guy who's always in the background for all of these artists. So he's obviously, he's good friends with the whole group, and he was coming down to London for is it the Hammersmith Apollo, I think, Sound City. So it was Foo Fighters, and a few other
I
bands.
know it's been a while.
Yeah,
I know it's been a while. Don't worry.
but yeah. So Alan was playing there, and it was just after we recorded. So he said, "Do you want to come backstage?" We're like, yeah.
Oh.
So he come got us from the bar, and then we walked down a few dingy alleyways, and we came out in this tiny green room, probably the size of my studio here actually.
Yeah.
And in that green room you had Dave Grohl, the whole of the Foo Fighters, like other celebrities like Simon Pegg was there, and Lee from Blue, and all crammed into this little room. So we're just standing there with a little beer and being like, hey, it's good to meet everyone.
How did you feel? Did you feel like, oh my god, like I belong here, like I'm like these guys, But then at the same time, how was that like for you? Sort of like, did you feel a little bit like, oh my god, like Dave Grohl is just there, or was it more
Yeah,
like, did you feel comfortable, confident?
I was pretty starstruck. I'm not gonna lie, pretty
I
starstruck.
bet I would be.
It's always you know, as a person, when people talk to you, you just want them to be normal and relaxed, don't you? So
Yeah, absolutely.
when you get starstruck, you end up being just saying weird things, and it can be a bit awkward. Fortunately, it didn't get awkward, but I do have a tendency to be awkward every now and then, just because, you know, it's just the way I am sometimes. But with Dave Grohl, I think I was like, keep it cool, man, keep it cool.
Yeah, I was like, it's okay, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
just Dave Grohl. It's just Dave Grohl. I get that because I am a big fan of Benji Webb from Skindred.
Oh,
He's
okay.
such a nice guy. And basically, I went to see Skindred in York, Faber's Bar, which is a tiny little bar in York, yeah, like I said. And he was sat right next to me, and I was so nervous. And I'm like, just me and my brother, and I'm like to my brother, Benji's there. Benji's there. And I'm just like, I looked at Benji, and he's like, all right, love, you okay? I'm like, nice suit. And I walked away. And I'm just like, why didn't I speak to him? I just said nice suit, and I walked away. And I'm just like, oh my God, like he's probably like gonna think I'm just super rude. But I guess
Was that it? You didn't go back or anything?
no, I didn't go back. I was just like, nice suit, and I walked away. And I'm just like, oh my God, I was so stupid. Why did I say that? But I guess being an anxious person, I'm always like scared, oh my God, I'm gonna say the wrong thing, and then I end up saying the wrong thing rather than just being myself and just talk normally, because like I'm a person, you are a person,
Yeah,
and just having a chat like me and you are doing right now.
yeah.
But then I was just like, oh my God, why did I say that? So one day I hope to actually to sit Benji down and have a conversation with him.
You'll probably remember it. You'll be like, "Are you the one that had a nice suit?"
Probably.
It's one of those like unusual things to say, so it'll probably stick in the memory. I know probably
Maybe, but he was. I think he had a few beers anyway by this point, so he might not remember me.
maybe you'll find out.
Maybe we'll find out soon.
Maybe we watch this podcast.
Oh gosh, imagine that. No, I was listening to a few of the Firekind songs, and I came across the Sound of Rain.
Yeah.
And I tend to, well, a little backstory. I grew up watching MTV. So when MTV showed music videos. So since then, I've always been fascinated about music videos. But I was watching the Sound of Rain music video, and I was like, what's that all about? You guys just climbing this mountain with all your gear on your back. What's that all about? What's the meaning behind it?
I think a lot of songs have like a journey from a struggle to you know, sort of a good position, and that song was basically about having a, you know, maybe going through a difficult time, but then when you go home and you go to sleep and the rain is you know, falling on the windows, there's a moment where you can just forget about everything, and that was the kind of premise. And yeah, with regards to the video, we had this great director, Elliot Montello.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he lives in Canada now, actually, and he does some major parts for some major shows. You know, he's on Netflix and stuff. But yeah, he had this fantastic idea of, you know, showing like the visual interpretation of like a struggle by, you know, coming out of the water and pulling all of your equipment and, or, you know, your life behind you, and then finally ending up setting up and being in a good position.
Would that relate to your personal life?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has mini tragedies in their life, don't they? And, you know, you speak to anyone on the street, they probably have a sad story, you know. So there, you know, there's elements of that in most people's life, and it's just, you know, channeling that in a positive way into music. And
yeah, I speak to a lot of people about mental health, and I always share my story. I've been diagnosed with depression, anxiety. I've got OCD. Like the list never ends, unfortunately. But I try to get myself out there and express my way. My way of expressing is by writing blogs. You know, I write blogs and I share my story with other people, because I think it's important for people to know me, not just as this person that does a podcast from time to time or does this weekend radio show, but to know me as a person as well. You know, I struggle like any other person. And I also have physical difficulties. I have fibromyalgia. And also I went through a traumatic accident when I was 3 years old that left my foot damaged. So it's just these things as well that I want people to know about me. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone goes through a very hard time, whatever that may be. Obviously, pain, the way we deal with pain is completely different. You know, it's different from person to person. I guess that with you guys at Firekind, obviously your music is your way to express what you're feeling and everything else. Would that be right to say? The music that you write is about you guys and no one else. But there'll be people that will like resonate with what you've gone through, isn't it? I was aware that yourself and your brother went through a rough time as well, but obviously we don't have to go into that at all. But what would be your sort of advice to people that might be going through a rough time right now?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, mine and Dan's dad, you know, he died. It's like almost 10 years ago now.
Mm-hmm,
It was such a major part of our lives, and where, you know, he was part of the band at the time, as in he was like our manager and such a driving force. You know, we just relied on him.
Of course.
And you know, obviously, 1 second everything's fine, and then the next second it's all changed, and you're walking in the house and you see like his pair of shoes, and you're like, it's just a pair of shoes, but the sting you get from like random objects like that.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Years, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's that feeling of obviously of loss. That yes, it will get it will get better over time, but it's something that you'll never forget, you know, because obviously, especially a person that influenced the way you are right now. Am I right to say that? And shaped yourself and your brother to be the men that you are today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. So that would be very,
but for us, it was, you know, we just stopped gigging for, it was like three or 4 months, and then we came to a point that you know, I think it's about time we started getting going again, and you know, that's what he would have wanted, and just tackle it head on, and you know, just try and become more self-reliant in a way, and it does make you grow up. It's what we've found anyway, and it is a natural part of life, you know.
It is.
Just
we aren't here forever, unfortunately, and some people go before their time, which is unfortunate. But sometimes there's nothing that we can do about it. Just life goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's just trying to enjoy your life as it is, and gigging is just one of the best things. You know, you get out there, everyone's having a good time, and there's moments on stage where you're like, I'm just totally happy right here.
Absolutely, I can tell. Honestly, I think your dad will be very proud. The way you speak about him and the way you just, I don't know, there's, like I said to you before, there's this little, like, a light in your eyes when you talk about music and you talk about your brother, you talk about your dad. So, yeah, that is really, really cool to see, you know. Obviously, like, we don't really know each other. Yeah. So this is the opinion from, in a way, a complete stranger.
Oh, cool.
You know. So, honestly, you're saying about gigging is the best thing, but we, as you obviously you are aware of this, with the Let the Music Play campaign that
Yeah.
we've been making a lot of noise, musicians, artists, radio DJs, that sort of thing, anyone in the arts really. So what did you guys